What up, what up? This is Crypto Pio. You're watching Escape Velocity, and today we are going to talk about one of my favorite pieces, the Bitcoin Angel by Trevor Jones, available on NiftyGateway. So this piece dropped in the past month. As you can see, it is a classical looking piece and does have the Bitcoin logo right here in the background. At the time that this piece came out, it was speculated that pieces that reference Bitcoin were going to do very well. There's a piece by Beeple called Bull Run. Everything by Beeple's doing well, but that piece also did very well. There's a piece called Last Stand of the Nation State that sort of, it references the last stand of the nation state, kind of alluding to the end of fiat currency and the rise of, currencies like Bitcoin. And there's a lot of reasons why I really like this piece. It dropped at $777. It had a solid start in terms of its performance, but it's had a very big bull run, I would say, up to like between $3,000 and $5,000 as a sale price every single day. And I'm going to talk about the reasons why, but I do think that this piece has long-term upside for a number of reasons. So the artist Trevor Jones made the piece inspired by a sculpture by Gian Lorenzo Bernini called Ecstasy of Saint Teresa from 1652. So definitely an old classical piece. And, I really like the level of detail on Bitcoin Angel. You can tell how talented of a painter and just an artist in general Trevor Jones is. He's been at this for a super long time. He's a traditional painter and illustrator. And I think all of his skill shows in the piece. I bought a second one. I doubled down. I bought at drop at $777 and doubled down at $925. The piece now routinely sells for between $3,000 and $5,000, depending on how high or low of a mint you have. If you have a sub 1,000 mint, you can expect sales between $5,000 and $7,000. And if you have a sub 100 mint, you can expect sales pretty high, like 14,000. We saw number 24 sell for 14,000 very recently. We saw 888 the whale buy the number 1 mint for, I believe it was 24,000 a few weeks back. So since the piece dropped, it has been one of the top 6 pieces on NiftyGateway. It actually was the most popular piece until Faces by Slime Sunday and Blau flipped it in the past week or so. That's another great piece that I own 2 copies of that I will talk about in a later video. But yeah, I'd say Bitcoin Angel really firmly has this number 2 spot. Le Anime, it's definitely been selling well. It's past Genesis, it's past Lavish, but Bitcoin Angel had 4,100 mints, 4,157. And so this is going to be an example of a piece that was high popularity and high mint. So that's a really good combination because it means that there's a ton of liquidity in the market and that the piece changes hands a lot because it's popular and because there's a lot of them. So naturally there are a lot of people selling them. So there's always going to be flippers out there, it seems, in the NFT community, people that just buy it drop and like try to flip immediately or try to flip a day later or 2 days later. And that's okay if there's a ton of demand for the piece. As long as those flippers are staying above the original drop price or even just dipping a little bit below it, that can generally have the floor increase gradually over time and get to a point where a piece that originally cost $777 essentially has a floor of $3,000 right now. Like, we're not seeing Bitcoin Angel sell for less than $3,000. If you look at the price history, it sells a lot. Like today, it's already sold a ton of times, all between, okay, so here's one at $29.50. Everything else is between $3,000 and $5,000. Here's a low mint, number 35, selling for almost $8,000. So if you have a low mint of this piece, you're really sitting pretty at this point. And you could have just bought low mints really early on because the piece didn't perform exceptionally well right off the bat, but it did sell a lot. There were a large volume of sales, but not necessarily sales that were like through the roof right off the bat, like the Balte drop that I covered in my last freestyle. So a few factors that made this piece really intriguing to collectors right off the bat is that there were 2 drawings associated with the piece. The first drawing was for a one-of-one Conor McGregor painting NFT. This is another really cool painting with a ton of detail that Trevor Jones did. I would have sold this because when this was raffled off, it was after Conor McGregor lost his last fight, and a lot of that hype was dying down. So this is a piece that if I had won the raffle, I would have sold. I'm assuming that, this piece could could have probably fetched six figures on the secondary market after being awarded to the winner of the raffle. And then the second drawing for the piece is for a one-of-one NFT painted of either you or a loved one by Trevor. So essentially a free commissioned piece by Trevor Jones, which I have to assume is, pretty pricey in terms of value. Got to think at least $50,000 to get Trevor Jones to paint a canvas of you. I could be way off with that. It could be way more. So I think that had collectors intrigued. Another really interesting thing about this piece is that Trevor Jones has really championed it on social media. He wants to make Bitcoin Angel a collector's item. He wants to reward the collectors of Bitcoin Angel. So at this point, he's making a Discord channel for Bitcoin Angel and Bitcoin Bull private owners, for a private lounge for owners. And he's also kind of taken matters into his own hands with the performance of Bitcoin Angel. There was a point where it was changing hands a lot, but it was just kind of hanging out between its original drop price of $777 and $1,000. And Trevor just came in, called everybody that was selling it, short-sighted, said that they all have paper hands, and he actually bought up all of the Bitcoin Angels that were under $1,000 at one point. And that kind of, inspired confidence in the NFT community that Bitcoin Angel could be a worthwhile piece, and that's when you started to see the run up. You saw it run up to a $2,000 floor, $2,500 floor, and then before this week, we were really looking at between $4,000 and $5,000 for every single sale of Bitcoin Angel, essentially a $4,000 floor. Now we've seen that kind of correct down to a $3,000 floor, which I believe has a ton to do with the performance of Bitcoin, the asset. It seems to me that NFTs are very directly correlated, the NFT market as a whole at the macro level is very directly correlated to the performance of Bitcoin / the entire crypto market, because a lot of people pay for NFTs with Ethereum. And so when Ethereum is ripping, when Bitcoin's ripping and, they're feeling really rich, hey, what's, a $4,000 NFT? No big deal. I have all this Ethereum that's performing so well. But when that kind of dips down, they don't want to sell low. They want to sell high. So they're more likely to convert their crypto assets into NFTs when the price is on the high side. One other really cool tidbit that Trevor put forward about the Bitcoin Angel and the Bitcoin Angels collectors community is that he wants to have a party in a Scottish castle next year once the world is reopened for Bitcoin Angel collectors. So I'm going to go if he actually has that. You already know I'm going to get the plane ticket. I'm going to show up at that party with both of my Bitcoin Angel NFTs in my NiftyGateway wallet. And this is one of the really cool ways that NFTs, you hear Gary Vee allude to this all the time. NFTs can give you access to people and things and places and events that you wouldn't have before. So this would be an event where you can meet other collectors. I have to assume some of these collectors are rich, considering some people literally hold like 20, 30 Bitcoin Angels. So you're kind of, brushing elbows with folks that have a lot more money than you. You get to meet the actual artist, Trevor Jones. That's pretty cool. And this is one of the ways that, crypto and NFTs in general kind of act as an equalizer, narrow the wealth gap, transfer wealth from those that, are elite, so to speak, to those that are more have-nots just because they were early and they made the right decision. So, all in all, I think that this piece is a potential rocket ship long-term. I mean, it's already technically been a rocket ship. I bought one for $777 and $925, $1,700 investment that could be liquidated on a good day for $7,000, $8,000. That's pretty good to me. But I think long term it could be a collector's item because of its initial popularity, because of how much Trevor Jones is championing it, and then also because Trevor Jones I think has a lot of potential to become one of the next crypto artists or the next NFT artists, however you want to put it, to be auctioned by one of the major traditional auction houses, Sotheby's or Christie's. Pac, who he actually has a collaboration with, Trevor and Pac did a piece together. Pac is being auctioned by Sotheby's right now. So first it was Beeple with Christie's, now it's Pac with Sotheby's. I would not be surprised at all if in the next 6 months Trevor gets auctioned by one of those two houses, and then what happens after that? We've seen what happens with Beeple's pieces. We're starting to see what's happening with Pac's pieces, and I think it's only going to get more intense towards the upside. I can't wait if Trevor gets auctioned. I think Bitcoin Angel's going to the moon. It might even overtake Faces again as the most popular. It's actually not out of the question, although Faces is doing really well, and I'll cover that in another video. So all in all, Bitcoin Angel, I think it's an awesome bet on Nifty Gateway. Just in NFTs, period. I'm holding 2. I wish I bought more. This is Escape Velocity. I'm going to keep dropping every day. If you or someone you know wants to talk NFTs and you got a little street cred, you know, you can show that you have like 10, 20 NFTs and you've been studying the market a little bit, hit me up. I got my email address on the channel. I want to talk to more people that are passionate about NFTs. I want to make this show more interactive. Let's do it. Crypto Pio, Escape Velocity. See ya.